2020 has seen historic job losses and an economic downturn, and that is leaving millions of people potentially in debt. And starting next year, debt collectors will be able to contact you by email, text message, and even through social media, believe it or not. If that sounds too invasive, too hard to believe perhaps, Consumer Reports has some tips to help manage collection communications.
Social media connects billions of people with family and friends, but soon you might get a message from someone you'd probably rather ignore, a debt collector.
A year from now, when this new rule takes effect, debt collectors will be able to send an unlimited number of text messages, emails, and hit you up on social media as much as they want, as well as call you up to 7 times a week, and sometimes maybe more.
You heard right. Starting late next year, the ways collection agencies can legally contact you will greatly expand. And since around 70 million people have a bill in collections, this change affects a lot of people. And while trying to collect legitimate debt is perfectly legal, the industry has a history of aggressive tactics, sometimes even trying to collect money from consumers who don't even owe it.
The problem is debt collectors are notorious for hounding consumers over debts that have already been paid off or were never even owed in the first place.
The collection industry welcomes the change, saying it's a significant step forward in updating outdated collections practices that hurt small businesses and left consumers in the dark. Even with these changes, there are still consumer protections to guard against aggressive, unfair, and even illegal collections. For example, Consumer Reports says if a debt collector contacts you, request verification of the debt. You can expect to receive information on the debt in the mail within about 5 days after your request.
And many states have a statute of limitations on how long debt can actually be collected upon, typically between 3 and 6 years, after which you no longer need to pay on it. So check the laws in your state. Do not pay any part of the debt until you are certain that you owe it. Otherwise, you could accidentally revive old debt you no longer owe.
If you don't recognize the charge, get a copy of your credit report to make sure you weren't the victim of identity theft. You can get free credit reports from annualcreditreport.com. And if you do owe the money but can't afford to pay it all at once, try negotiating a lower repayment amount and a payment plan you can afford.
All right, and at this point, it's still not entirely clear how collection agencies will use social media. For its part, Facebook, which also owns Instagram, told Consumer Reports in a statement this, quote, "We are in the process of reviewing this new rule and will work with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau over the coming months to understand its effect on people who use our services." Twitter did not immediately respond to a request for comment.
Well, we all need a